help us better comprehend this ancient science. Dr. Miller is going to start off in the morning by giving a presentation about the geological history of the area, which will also help us prepare us for the day's journey by illustrating how to see and interpret the landscape through a geologist's eyes. Dr. Miller, who I'm going to now call Jim, because it just feels better. Jim received his PhD from the University of Minnesota, and until he retired fairly recently, was an associate professor of geology at the University of Minnesota, Duluth, where he was also the administrative director for the Precambrian Research Center, a field mapping institute established in 2007. He's a former senior geologist with the Minnesota Geological Survey, a position he held for more than 25 years. Jim is the author and co-author of more than 50 publications, field guides, and geologic maps. And I would be remiss if I did not add that he's no stranger to learning life and the College of Continuing Education. He has taught innumerable courses for learning life over a period of many, many years. And I think I've heard some of you already reference, didn't you teach, didn't you? This means that I have in my office a file that holds the evaluations completed by Jim's past students. It means that I can tell you that it is nearly 3 inches thick and brimming with words describing him as passionate, energetic, knowledgeable, erudite, fun, animated, wonderful, enthusiastic, impressive, talented, dynamic, personable, humorous, patient, exuberant, first-rate, accessible, delightful, and the singular wow. And that's a direct quote, the wow. I think his wife Louise is going to have a little trouble living with him after this. One of his students wrote, "Jim is by far one of the very best instructors of geology I have ever had. He has a way of making all the complexities of the Earth's formation, something I have known and documented over the years and thought I understood, all of a sudden become much more clear. His class was an aha experience, an amazing experience. Jim is an excellent, excellent teacher."
Buried those lava flows. And then they were brought back into sort of juxtaposition with each other by these big faults. This is called the Keweenaw Fault here, the Isle Royal Fault here, the Douglas Fault here, that brought the salt from depth up closer to the surface. And then erosion has kind of planed things down to what we see today, okay? Again, although we still have Wisconsin with us, as a result of this aborted attempt at ocean basin formation, and which would have made the Twin Cities and Duluth a seaside resort instead of sitting in the middle of the continent, this has been a good thing for geologists, because now in the Lake Superior region, we can study these rocks that tell us how continents break apart. It's all there. You can go, when you drive up I-35 to Duluth and you come to Midway Road, you'll notice the highway climbs to a higher elevation. You're looking at the very edge of the lava flows right there. You can go to the base of that slope and put your hand on the very first lava flow that erupted, of tens of thousands of lava flows that filled that rupture. Same thing up here, up by Grand Portage. You can put your hand on lava flow number 1. Down here by Ironwood, Michigan, you can put your hand on lava flow number 1. And then there are tens of thousands that piled on top of that over 30 million years. Over here in the east part of the lake, Michipicoten Island, we've gotten the youngest date from the lava flows there. And so that kind of gives us our window of how long that magmatic, volcanic activity. Probably my most favorite thing to do is do outreach. I kind of all got started doing this actually here at the Gunflint Lodge. I think it was 1979 or 1980. My advisor at Minnesota they had started to do elder hostels up here. You've maybe heard of the elder hostel program, national program. It's a week-long class, and my advisor had agreed to teach a geology class up here. But he knew he had some other obligations that might draw him back down to the city, so he hauled me up here and said, if I have to bail, you know, it's your show. So the very first day we got here, sure enough, he gets the call, and he had to go straight back down to the cities. So I'm like deer in the headlights, okay, let's talk about rocks. But it was fantastic, I loved it. I I've bitten by the bug of outreach education, and I've been doing it ever since. Whether it's school kids or adult learners, language, and you start reading the book that we call The Earth, unbelievable stories can be told. And so, to me, it's all about the stories. We get called in and say, hey, can you, do rock and mineral identification for our fourth graders? And I'm like, really? Because it's in a lot of geoscience education, in grade school and whatever, middle school, it's all about, it gives science a bad name. It's all about giving things names. It's like biology, what's this plant? What's this rock? And then that's it. Oh, we solved it. We gave it a name. We figured out what it is. That's just the beginning. That's just learning the language. Now, what does that mean? What does it tell you about the Earth? How old is that rock? What does it tell you was happening here a billion years ago? That's the cool part. That's the awesome part, is the story in the rock. Every rock has a story.